before getting into that other stuff, I thought this was sort of interesting.
Okay.
And I wanted your take on it. And then just the simple question of, is it better to be single or in a relationship?
Grass is always greener. That's
Yes. And there's some science behind it. So I got a question from one of the boys. He's like, dude, I've been fucking juggling different chicks.
is this the same guy who wanted to fuck his ex's
No,
sister?
not the same guy. And he's like, it's been killing my productivity and it's become a nightmare. And it's like,
What? Juggling chicks?
yeah, juggling chicks.
Just think of them each one as a part-time job.
Yes. But
It might not think of them as a side hustle. That's a better thing.
Yeah.
Each one is a different side hustle.
and you can also,
So think about how a
Okay.
side hustle affects your life time-wise.
it is true.
Yeah, and you'd be like, I have 12 different side hustles, and you go, okay, well, it's gonna take away from your main hustle.
And you can also, so if you were to go, so then then the obvious answer to that is like, okay, we'll just have one chick. And that's an option. But if you were to go back from first principles and because all these people have this idea that like, oh, even the Jordan Petersons of the world, it'll just be like, here's why it's having a wife's better. We've already done the calculations, it's that. And you're like, okay, but I'd like to fuck other girls.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people that are like, having a wife's better. And you go, yeah, or it's not. Like, or fucking, having a wife sucks. Like,
There's also
for some people.
yeah, but
Depends who it is.
and then there's also like the very tiny fraction of people who go, I have a wife who lets me cheat.
Right. So what is the ideal scenario? But that is expensive. Dude,
That's expensive, or you just need the right.
Dude, I know other people that are like, I got a fucking chick that like, she kind of is down at threesomes, or it's like a little open for me every now and then, but it's like, yeah, just cheat anyway, because it's like a pain in the ass to fucking tell her like, I know that I'm allowed as long as I tell you, but I had sex, and they're just like, fuck
Yeah,
that,
exactly.
Dude, I
I
don't
don't-
want that fucking, unless it's like, don't ask, don't tell a little. But this is probably ideal. If you are single, you have one main chick that you hang out with like once a week, and then other chicks that you don't really talk to that much, but you smash like once every month.
Yeah,
That's probably the ideal.
that's kind of yeah.
And then you need to do probably the math on how sick you are, because you go, if the chicks are hotter than you, because if the chicks are hotter than you and you're not that sick of a dude, whether like you don't offer that much, you're not that like entertaining, you weren't just traditionally the girl.
Oh, they'll be gone. You'll be getting a lot.
You won't be able to have you won't be able to maintain them without a lot of effort.
Yeah.
And then if they're too much grosser than you, they'll all fall in love with you, and they'll be hard to like keep them in that position.
It's a juggling act for sure. Because that's the thing, if you have some girl who's super hot, way hotter than you, and then you just start ghosting her, she's gonna be like, "What the fuck?
That's it, you're
Who the
done.
fuck do you think you are? Like,
Yeah.
Well, you think you're just gonna message me whenever you want? Like,
So a lot of times what you could have is like girls that you dated for fucking 6 months, put in tons of time, and then you kind of aren't with them now, and you have like a few sort of almost exes in the mix that you can smash every month or two. But then there isn't so much of an idea that are we getting back together?
Yeah.
So that's probably the best.
but like, is this guy trying to make his life easier? Like, I don't understand. Like what's his issue that he's trying to resolve here?
Well, what's it's
There
not,
is
it's
no such
unclear
thing, because
But what's the best way to live your life is the cardinal question for everyone.
I mean, well, I think that shifts depending on where you're at. Like, there was
It does
definitely a
shift.
period in my life where I go, the best thing was just tons of different chicks all the time.
Uh-huh.
And then that, became not the best thing.
Yeah.
Where you go, oh, this is a fucking drag. This is tiring.
And there's that idea that you can a lot of times you can get what you want, but it's never going to be how you want it.
That's
you know what I
true.
mean?
Yeah.
Whether it's a career or a chick, you're like, what I want is a chick that I can fuck whoever I want. And like, you can always probably get what you want, but it'll come with like some other shit. You're like, ugh, maybe I didn't like the type of chick that's into that fucking nonsense.
Yeah.
I didn't realize the fucking batshit crazy type of girl that like, or the fucking weird shit. But then, or maybe you don't want like the emotional pressure of some fucking gooma bleeding you dry as well, right? So
It's the thing is it's very much an experiment, because you
It's a
you
constant
add,
one.
you take away, you kind of like,
this would be probably the ideal scenario if I was to pick. That you start getting in relationships And then they get to about the 2-year mark and you fucking get out and then you start the process again.
Just start all over.
Yes. But again, most people don't want to live like that. And I don't live like that.
No.
But if I,
No, that's a tough way to live.
well, it's,
You know what that lifestyle is? That's a lifestyle of a drifter.
it's a drifter. That's
Drifter, like you're a vagabond at that point.
I think that's
where
the
you
best way to live.
You know, you straight up, you're like, oh, I'm moving.
That's the dream.
Yeah, you just move to a new
literally
place.
what I
You're
just
just basically
did.
saying move to a new place every 2 years.
That's what I just did.
Yeah.
And I think so.
Yeah.
But you don't want to have to reset all your other stuff. You just want to reset the girl. What you want is her to, like, you move her every 2 years.
I think what you're sounding like is
After 2 years,
I think
you
this
go,
is
hey, you're moving.
this sounds like more of a sports thing where you sign them to a contract
Well,
and then
that's
you don't
would be
and
the
then you don't
fucking
renew
ideal,
it.
dude.
You just don't renew the contract.
But it would be hard to not renew your girlfriend's contract, like right now. If you're dating your chick,
I think Keith Pedro has a joke about this, maybe.
yeah. But if your chick was even like, "What we have to do?" You, I mean, obviously that was a formality. You weren't actually doing that, and you're like, "Hey, sit down. I'd like to."
Yeah, you bring him into the what do you do here? You know, you sit him down. You go, so we've talked with management, and we were happy to have you on the team these past couple of years, but unfortunately, we will not be renewing your contract.
Right.
So. Just like straight, on
There's
the other
no
side
way.
of the desk.
Like
Yeah.
right now, if I fucking chick's like, all right, we're gonna do this contract negotiation, then every guy does it. Every guy would have to be like, no, obviously we don't have to do it. It's like, yeah, okay, I'll just send you the contract. And then she's like, hey, you haven't sent me the contract yet. And you go, yeah, I'm for sure my people are on
so
it.
we've decided we're going a different route.
We're going diverse.
Yeah, we're going diverse. Diversity's pretty popular right now.
We didn't think yours was best for the company. They said, so I read this article and it said, are you better off being single according to science? And they were sort of pushing some like new agey bullshit, like, cities shit. But we can tell if you actually agree with them or not. They said, number one, being single gives you the space to think. So they say, taking some time to yourself can be seen as an opportunity to get to know who you really are and blah, blah. So that's where they go into girl territory. But it is true that when a girl's around all the time and then she leaves, you're like sick. Mm-hmm. But then after they're gone for 2 weeks, you end up like when totally left to your own devices, guys aren't always more productive anyway. And you end up like this guy with 4 chicks.
Yeah.
So if you are the type of guy that you say, my alternative to having a girlfriend, it's between having a girlfriend or me being just 24/7 working, and that's what I am.
Yeah.
You go, yeah, then you're more productive and you think more, but who's doing that?
Exactly.
Nobody.
Yeah. I mean, you'll know eventually when you're starting being like, this is not. Like, it depends what age you are. Like, if this guy's 50, I'll be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
If this guy's 25, I'll be like, yeah, have fun.
20s, you go single.
Yeah, 20s is
Develop those relationships that last 7 months that'll allow you to fuck them every now and then when you're single and you're older.
Yeah.
In your in-between periods, you'll be able to come back to the roster, get the gang back together.
Sow those seeds,
You gotta get the gang back together, raise the dead like the necromancer. You with your fucking voodoo spells to get the fucking old girls from 7 years ago, raise them from the dead. Hey, me, it's Ryan. Remember we fucked in college?
remember me. Yeah, if you're fucking, that's age dependent, I think.
Yeah. And they said single people are healthier. There's some evidence single people get more exercise than those who are married.
Obviously,
that's
because people who
obvious.
are married would probably have kids. And
Yeah. And if you're going to be one of those guys that's like, chiseled and have an 8-pack and all that stuff, like why? Mm-hmm. But I'll go on the other side. Being fucking that, in shape is overrated.
I mean, what's the point of it if you have a fucking...
What's the point of it? You need the base level of like, I'm in shape. You don't want to be fat. But this idea of being in tip-top shape, if you're not getting new pussy, why?
Yeah,
Who's this
unless
for?
you're like, I do triathlons on the weekends. You're that guy, weekend warrior.
Sure.
So to speak.
Sure. Be that guy.
But that's more of a byproduct, I think, really, of you wanting to do those things.
Yes. 3, you're better at keeping friends. And it's like, well, maybe, but if your friends are all in relationships, then you're going to be worse at keeping those friends.
Wait, single people are better at keeping friends?
That's what they're saying.
I don't know about
what
that
they mean
because
is like you're the Fred Armisen where you have all these like people you're friends with. You're definitely better at keeping opposite gender friends when you're single.
I guess. Yeah, the friend thing is weird.
Who the fuck wants that?
Because the fact is like, the older you get, all your friends have, they start partnering up and then you're not going to see them very much.
Yeah, unless you go see them unless you work together or your chicks are friends too. And you're like, you hang out as a unit.
But you don't have a chick because you're single.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So you're going to be worse at keeping those friends.
And then you never want to be the guy who's constantly like, your friend's married and you just have a new chick every time you hang out.
It's rude. I wouldn't hang out with that dude.
No.
Dude, if
the wife would be like, what the
fuck? If
I'm
dating a girl seriously and I'm friends with someone who has like Justin, who has like a fucking new chick every time, he's like, what you bring the one chick around, it's like another year till like I would ever do something with a new chick.
100%. Like you have to, you have to almost like allow your imagination to think about what happened with the relationship, like all the work its entire course to where you could be like, oh, they've gone through their thing and now broken up and
exactly.
he's on to a new person.
There's no way that I'm just gonna allow it
next week being like new chick.
Yeah, he's just that's one of my friends that I hang out with. Is just out there crushing snares.
And it's nothing.
Like it's nothing. No chance. Those are the kind of values that my friend has. I mean, which dude would want his girl being with? Can you imagine your friend like going clubbing? Your chick's going clubbing with some girl, and she's like has some new fucking dude every time. You'd be like, I hate this.
Yeah. Yep.
Don't force me to be around this nonsense. Your fucking friends hoe years. Do that. I don't want to be. Don't put me around it. Yeah. This is my number one thing I always say to chicks. I go, if you want me to be around this shit, I'm not going to be a very good boyfriend. I go, I'm doing my best to like kind of have that stuff not in my life. I probably hang out a little bit less at those places. I do a little bit less 4 a.m. coke nights with randoms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you want to bring this shit into my life? You want to ignite the beast?
Give him a taste of the beast.
The beast that was old,
please, sir,
Ryan.
please put the beast away.
You want to fuck around, turn me back to the old me? What, you think I ain't got condoms? What, you think I sold them all? Because I stay well off? Because I've been in the podcast studio with a pen and the pad? Trying to get this damn YouTube off?
Saying Ryan fell off?
I've probably made that joke 10 times. Fun one to keep going back to, though.
Oh, yeah.
Change the words a little bit. And then they say, you're better with money. These are all just like...
Single people are better with money?
And I don't agree with much of this. I think this whole article, it's like you can be or you cannot be.
Yeah, you eat craft dinner out of a fucking pot that you haven't cleaned in 3 days.
Then you'll be better with money. Yeah. But if you're dating and you're like, listen, I'm dating a chick. I don't spend much. When I'm fucking single, I don't mind dropping big bills. I got bills. You know who that song is? It's my favorite song. So Ludacris back in the day had a song where he goes, I got bills. And me and my friend used to say, so it's a guy named Bill, a duck bill, and then money. And then a bill of independence, and then like a bill for your meal. Yeah. So it's just bills. I got bills. It's like, yeah, bills, and then like bills, and then a guy named Bill. Like a guy named Bill with a mechanic outfit.
Yo, what's up?
So he has every different.
I was like, yeah. kids in the hall, like these are the Daves I know.
Yeah. These are the Daves I know.
These are the Daves I know. These are the Daves I know.
So he has a lot of different bills.
A lot of bills.
I got bills.
Yeah, but I don't get that one. I guess if you're single, you can focus more on your career. You kind of like can make more money.
Maybe.
I guess. But it depends on the person. Like we all know single guys who work in, Wall Street, make a ton of money and are like living paycheck to paycheck because they just have this crazy life.
Exactly. So it's both. It just depends on which one of them are and how old you are. So I think this whole article is a bunch of bullshit. And it really is. What's your fucking age? What's your job? If you live some job where you're on tour fucking 45 days a year, yeah, you're going to want to fucking be fucking other girls. If you live in the middle of the country and you're not around all that shit, you're not, maybe you have a kid, you're not around all this nonsense, then it's obviously better to have a chick.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many just city.
Scenario by scenario.
Yeah, I would say like a city has a lot to do with it. There's so many places where I was like, you can't just be single.
Yeah.
Some country town. You're like the crazy guy then.
So I think this is a little bit of bullshit. It depends on your personality. depends on.
I feel like
what
we
you're
didn't give
doing.
him a good answer, but
No, we did give him
Well,
the
I-
exact answer. Well, there isn't a good answer.
There
That's the
isn't a
difference
good- that
between
is-
like real advice and when you're talking to people that are like, it's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to look someone in the eyes and go, this one's better.
yeah,
It's like, who are you? What is your thing? And this is the problem with
true.
advice.
It's true.
That's that like Ty Lopez kind of advice. That's the guy version where they just go, you need to get out there and fucking eat glass in the morning. And it's like, what is this guy trying to accomplish? Does he really need an ice bath every morning for what he's trying to do?
He goes, it hardens you.
I read
it hardens you to go sell more multi-level marketing courses.
Yeah. What are you talking
What?
about?